after tí mo listen sí àwọn voice recording tí Olatoun release yẹn, oríṣiríṣi èrò ló wá sọ́kàn mi. Now lórí social media mo rí pé oríṣiríṣi àwọn èèyàn náà ni wọ́n ń sọ opinion wọn. Of course àwọn kan wà tó jẹ́ pé based on post tí Olatoun make yẹn, wọ́n ti padà lẹ́yìn Aladuke, wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa defend Olatoun. You know, previously ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa ń sọ wípé Olatoun ọ̀dàlẹ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ ni, but based on nǹkan tí Olatoun claim wípé Aladuke ṣe fóun, you know, it's a case of adìyẹ dà mí lóògùn nù máa fọ́ lẹ́yìn, àbí kí n sọ wípé ẹni yára lògùn gbè ló fi ṣe fún. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tí wọ́n ń ronú pé nǹkan tí Olatoun ṣe yẹn kò bad. Of course àwọn kan náà tún wà tí wọ́n ṣì ń support Aladuke. In fact nínú comment section Olatoun gan, mo rí àwọn obìnrin kan tó ń sọ wípé báwọn ṣe wà yìí o, táwọn bá ń bá ọkọ àwọn jà nílé, nǹkan tí Aladuke sọ yẹn wọ́n máa ń sọ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, pé torí tí èèyàn bá ń bínú gbà mí ó kàn máa sọ̀rọ̀ ni, o ò ní ronú consequence àwọn nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, àwọn nǹkan tó ń sọ. And while I agree with pé nígbà míì tẹ́lòmíì bá ń bínú, wọ́n máa ń bínú àsápajúdé, I don't agree that we should keep encouraging it, because whether you like it or not, kò sí nǹkan tá a ṣe láyé yìí tí ò ní consequences. The fact that ẹlòmíì tí ẹ ò tí worst tó jẹ́ pé ó máa ń cost ẹ̀ ní nǹkan, kò mí wípé ìwà yẹn da, torí pé kò sí nǹkan tí ò da kò lórúkọ méjì, kò da náà ni. In fact tẹ́ ẹ bá gbọ́ voice recording yẹn dáadáa, tó bá jẹ́ Aladuke farabalẹ̀ ni, ó yẹ kó mọ̀ pé Olatoun record òun. Torí Olatoun yẹn, she was very careful with her words. Ṣé tó bá ti ń báyàn sọ̀rọ̀, tó bá ti ń ṣe ṣé tòótọ́ ni, ṣé kinní kan ni, ó ní nǹkan tó máa ṣe, ó ti ní plan fún ẹ. Because normally tó bá ń bọ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀, tẹ́jọ́ ń sọ̀rọ̀ pé kinní kan tí wọ́n bá ṣe ń sọ sí ẹ pé èmi náà mo lè ṣe báyìí, mo lè ṣàwo, ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ náà máa bẹ́ẹ̀ máa fi sí ni, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni èmi náà lè ṣe, kò sóbìnrin tó lè ṣe kinní kan. Ẹ máa wá obìnrin náà bá ṣe máa ń sọ̀rọ̀, tó yàn bá jẹ normal gist partner ẹ, tó bá ń sọ fún pé kódà mo ń ronú pé mo lè lọ fọ́ orí ẹ̀, mo lè lọ yà á wèrè, mo lè ṣe kinní kan. Ẹni tó bá jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ gidi, òun náà máa sọ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni èmi gan tó bá jẹ́ mi ni màá ṣe jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, èmi gan mo lè dá kinní kan sí lórí, èmi gan mo lè ṣe kinní kan. Torí ìwà àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ó máa ń sábà ń jọra. Ṣùgbọ́n tí wọ́n tó bá jẹ́ pé o ní ọ̀rẹ́ tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ gidi, nǹkan tó máa sọ fún ẹni pé kò dẹ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, ò máa ní sùúrù, ò má ṣe irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, ṣé mo pé irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ á ṣà láti máa pàrọwà fún ẹ. Ṣé you understand? Bó ṣe ọ̀rẹ́ tó ṣe wúhùn sí ẹ, tí òun fúnra rẹ̀ tó wà non-committal ní pẹ̀lú àwọn response ẹ̀, ó yẹ kó ti mọ̀ pé nǹkan kan wà bẹ́ẹ̀. So Olatoun báwo la ṣe ń pè Aladuke, òun ni òrojú ilẹ̀ kó tó máa tẹ̀lé. Òun rojọ́ fẹ́yàn, òun pé ẹni yìí lè lọ lo against ẹ, because you already trust this person, you trusted her so much. At the end of the day, whether gbogbo nǹkan tí Olatoun kọ yẹn o, whether gbogbo nǹkan tó kọ yẹn òótọ́ ni o, pé ìdí tó fi ṣe é nìyẹn o, ọ̀ bóyá irọ́ ló ń pa, tí tèmi ni wípé èmi ò fẹ́ rú ọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn láyé mi. As a matter of fact, the kind of person I am, tí mo bá rí wípé Aladuke irú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ni tó ti ń sọ orúkọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn fún mi, èmi máa ń cut àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn off. I am the kind of person tó jẹ́ pé tí bá ń báyàn ṣọ̀rẹ́, tó bá ti ń sọ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ bákan fún mi tí mi ò like, mo máa ti rò pé dàpẹ́ ni yìí ìwà ẹ̀mí àti ẹ̀ ò fẹ́ dọ́gba. Mi ì ní lọ rìkọ́ọ̀dù ẹ̀ o, ṣé you get? Ní ìgbà yẹn tí Mr. Femi ti lọ accuse Olatoun yẹn, o nídìí láti gather evidence against Aladuke pé o tó cut ẹ̀ off. Èmi bí mo ṣe wà yìí, mo wà ó easy fún mi láti block èèyàn dànù. I can block anybody, kò sí anybody tó above blocking lọ́dọ̀ mi. Mi ì ní try láti gather evidence. The fact that ìwọ náà lọ record ẹ̀, o wá gather evidence yẹn, it shows the kind of person you are, Olatoun. Me, I will say the truth. even though mi ò lè support Aladuke based on àwọn nǹkan tó ṣe àtàwọn nǹkan tá a gbọ́ nínú àwọn voice recording yẹn, but Olatoun kò sí bó ṣe lè rí àwíjàre. That is why èmi ò I don't follow the crowd. Ìrònú ti tèmi yàtọ̀. Kò sí bó ṣe lè wọ ara ẹ̀ mọ́. Mi ì lè support Aladuke, but mi ì lè support Olatoun náà. Mo kàn ṣe sometimes I like to just mo máa ń try láti understand ìdí táwọn èèyàn fi ṣe nǹkan kan. So mo lè sọ wípé òkè ìdí tó fi ṣe okay ni, but mo mọ̀ pé èmi ò lè ever ṣe irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. I won't do that. Mi ní lọ record the conversation ẹ̀ torí pé mo fẹ́ fi bà tiẹ̀ jẹ́, torí pé mo lọ parọ́ mọ́ mi níbì kan ó ṣe kínní. After all, gbogbo nǹkan tí Olatoun kọ pé Aladuke wá padà ṣe fóun yẹn, ṣé bí after tí ọ̀rọ̀ tí ìjà ti ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin wọn ni. Gbogbo ìgbà tí Aladuke yìí ń sọ gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tó ń sọ fún lórí fóònù yẹn, they were still very good, they were still very close. Ó rí bí confident ni, which Olatoun náà tóun náà sọ. So whether you like it or not, betrayal ni. Okay, torí pé ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ parọ́ mú ẹ, fine. Ó dẹ̀ deny ẹ̀ nígbà yẹn, why tí ò ṣe kúkú choose láti má bá ṣọ̀rẹ́ mọ́. Ó wá continue láti má bá ṣọ̀rẹ́. Ó wá ń record oríṣiríṣi nǹkan kó lè lo against ẹ̀. No, mi lè support yẹn. I don't know what you guys think o. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n mọ thoughts yín nínú comment section. Alright? Ẹ mú yẹn sọ́wọ́. Now, èmi gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹnìkan, it is hard for me to say ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni báyìí ni mo fẹ́ support nínú àwọn méjèèjì, because ṣe rí àwọn méjèèjì náà ni wọ́n ní lọ́wọ́ ni wọ́n dì mẹ́rù. In fact, ọkọ gan ìyẹn Mr. Femi Adebayo gan, òun gan ò ṣe é support, because tó bá ń ṣe pé ìwà tí Mr. Femi Adebayo ń wù náà, ìyàwó ẹ̀ ò ní wà so insecure, and I'm very, bí mo ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn mo mọ̀ ọ̀kan tí mo ń sọ, insecure débi tó máa lé ọkọ ẹ̀ kiri, tó máa police ọkọ ẹ̀ kiri. I'm not trying to make excuses for her, but based on gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí mo rí tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn, mo rí wípé woman yìí part of nǹkan tó máa contribute sí insecurity ẹ̀, ó máa ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ọmọ ẹ̀ tó bí yẹn náà, àrídùnnú. Ṣé mo á máa wo wípé àbọ̀kọ ọkọ òun lè lọ decide láti lọ fẹ́ yàwó mi, kó wò pé torí ọmọ tóun bí, torí kìnnìkan, but ìyẹn ò dẹ̀ necessary, because Mr. Femi tó ti bímọ 3 tẹ́lẹ̀, kò lè sọ pé torí pé wọ́n bí ọmọ kan, ọmọ yẹn nǹkan kan wá ṣẹlẹ̀, you understand, pé bóyá báwo ni mo fẹ́ ṣe sọ́nà, bóyá ó máa lọ torí ẹ̀ lọ fún yàn lóyún. But she was very much insecure. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ dìyẹn mú sọ́wọ́. It is not an excuse o, and at the same time kò sí sẹ́ǹtì náà, torí pé mi tí mo jókòó sí ibà ìgbọ̀n náà, I am not perfect. Àwọn ọ̀wà mi wà náà tèmi náà máa ń hù tó jẹ́ pé tẹ́lómìnà bá gbá ò pé òṣèṣe lé ìtàn. That is why tí mi ò ṣe fẹ́ outrightly throw Aladuke under the bus, even though I condemn in its entirety gbogbo nǹkan tí wọ́n jọ sọ nínú conversation wọn yẹn. Kò necessary. O lè sọ pé torí pé ìwà àtọkọ ẹ̀ ń jà, kò máa ronú bó downfall ẹ̀, kò máa ronú bó ṣe máa bà reputation gbogbo ẹbí jẹ́, débi tó ń threaten pé bàbá gan máa ní stroke. Ìwà àṣà ni. That's just it. But mi fẹ́ dwell so much on that. Kó má dàbí pé bóyá mo fẹ́ máa attack somebody that is already down. I always try as much as possible pé tí nǹkan báyìí bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀, ẹni tó bá wà down nínú wọn, mo máa ń fẹ́ yàbá, kí máa fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sí jù. Ṣé you understand? Because me, I want to believe that gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí, Aladuke herself, ó ti máa regret ẹ̀, kò ní lè sọ síta ni. Unfortunately, aṣọ ò bọ́ ọmọ yẹn mọ́, ọmọ yẹn ti rìn wòwò. Gbogbo èyí tí à ń ṣe yìí kò lè save marriage wọn. Marriage yẹn ó ti pack up. Ẹ̀yin náà ṣàgbọ́ lórí last show tí mo ṣe, mo náà sọ pé wọ́n ti bá ìmáàmù sọ̀rọ̀, àwọn ìmáàmù, àwọn Islamic cleric oríṣiríṣi ní Ìbàdàn lọ́n ti pè sọ́rọ̀ yìí. Wọ́n sọ pé rárá, ìgbéyàwó yẹn kò ṣe túnṣe mọ́. Wọ́n ti bá ọba Ìlọrin sọ̀rọ̀, wọ́n ní rárá, wọ́n tẹ̀ ní Fáṣọlá náà tún dá sí. Àǹtí Aladuke náà ló sọ̀rọ̀, àǹtí ẹ̀ gangan ló sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn lórí prevailing issues with Àjọkẹ́ lórí YouTube yìí o, so kẹ́ lè understand pé ìgbéyàwó yẹn so if there's anybody that is advocating now, I believe that they are probably doing so because of the child involved. So you understand, because ọmọ yẹn need a stable home láti heal. We're talking about ọmọ tó jẹ́ wípé àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ yẹn wọ́n need a stable environment. Wọn kì í ṣe ọmọ tó jẹ́ pé èèyàn kan máa gbé kúrò níbí, gbé kúrò lọ́hùn, gbé kúrò kíní. So torí ẹ̀ ni mo fẹ́ kẹ́ dìyẹn mú. Lápá òdì kejì, àwọn tó ń support Olatoun kò ń ṣe pé àwọn náà ò rí sọ. Ṣé you understand? Because tẹ́ ẹ bá gbọ́ nǹkan tí Olatoun sọ pé Aladuke ṣe fóun tóun fi decide láti máa record conversation wọn, ẹ̀yin gan máa lanu pé eléyìí pọ̀. Olatoun sọ pé láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ òun ò ní intention láti máa record Aladuke, bí lóòótọ́ Aladuke send àwọn voice note kan sóhun, but òun ò fẹ́ lò against ẹ̀. Pé ṣùgbọ́n òun wá notice pé Aladuke ń parọ́ mọ́ òun, pé sister in law kan, ọdún kò sọ pé my sister in law àbí her sister in law, ó meet party yẹn ṣá, ó ṣà ní sister in law kan, èèyàn kan ṣá, either sister in law ìkànnú àwọn méjèèjì ṣá tó wà ní France. Ó ní ṣe ni Aladuke lọ sọ fún pé òun Olatoun mú Aladuke lọ sí ilé babaláwo, pé nílé babaláwo yẹn wọ́n wá sọ fún òun pé Femi Adebayo ti lo ọmọ ẹ̀ àrídùnnú yẹn àti Aladuke, ó ti fi wọ́n ṣoògùn owó. Olatoun wá sọ pé irọ́ mà nìyẹn kẹ̀, báwo ló ṣe máa lọ pa irú irọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn mọ́ òun, pé lóòótọ́ Aladuke ti sọ fún òun tẹ́lẹ̀ pé òun máa fòun parọ́, òun máa kàn fi já Fẹ́mi láyà, but òun sọ fún pé kó má lo orúkọ òun fi pa irú irọ́ yẹn o, pé òun ò dẹ̀ mú lọ sílé babaláwo, pé church níbi tó òun mú lọ. Ipe nígbà tó wá kọ́kọ́ pa first irọ́ yẹn mọ́ òun, lòun wá fi tó àwọn èèyàn létí, làwọn èèyàn wá sọ fún òun wípé kóun máa record ẹ̀, torí pé irú ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ó lè lọ ba òun láyé jẹ́. Ṣé you understand? Pé torí ẹ̀ lòun ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa record ẹ̀. Náà nínú post tí Olatoun kọ, ó ní òun àti Aladuke tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ kò ń ṣe pé bóyá àwọn close bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, pé okay Mr. Femi wọ́n ti jẹ́ bíi mentor sóhun kó tó di pé wọ́n fẹ́ Aladuke, pé ṣùgbọ́n after tí wọ́n marry òun ò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ close mọ́ Mr. Femi Adebayo mọ́, but ìgbà tó wá di sometime around bóyá 2023 Aladuke ló wá send DM sóhun tó bá òun sọ̀rọ̀, pé nǹkan tó dẹ̀ ṣe send DM sóhun ni pé òun náà ní ọmọ tó ní irú special needs bíi ti àrídùnnú ọmọ Aladuke yẹn, pé ọmọ òun ti wá di 11 years, ọmọ yẹn dẹ̀ ti wá ṣe dáadáa, ó ti better. Ṣé you understand? Ó ní so Aladuke òun believe pé ó súnmọ́ òun nítorí ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ ẹ̀ ni. Ṣé mọ̀ náà tó bá rí pé ẹni yìí náà ti nírú issue báyìí tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ọmọ tiẹ̀ dẹ̀ ti better, ṣé mọ̀ ó lè fẹ́ súnmọ́ pé kán lè jọ máa sọ̀rọ̀, kán máa finú wénú, ìyẹn á lè máa sọ fún nǹkan báyìí lòun ṣe, nǹkan báyìí lòun ṣe. Ṣé you understand? Ó ní bọ̀ later wọ́n wá realize pé kò ń ṣe pé Aladuke ń súnmọ́ òun torí ọmọ ẹ̀ nìkan, pé ó ń súnmọ́ òun kóun lè máa fún ní story nípa Mr. Femi, nípa nǹkan tó ń get up to ní location, nípa bóyá ó ní ó ń fẹ́ gbá àbí ó ń fàwo. Ṣé you understand? Ó ní lòun wá wò pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Ó ní kí Aladuke fúnra ara ẹ̀ kó jáde kó sọ fún àwọn aráyé nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ tó ṣe fún ọkọ ẹ̀ ní location jagunjagun 2, tó fi di wàhálà, tó fi di wípé ọkọ ẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa ṣe gbọ́nkú sí. Torí bó ṣe kọ̀rọ̀ yẹn gan, òun gan ò sí ní that particular location. Aladuke ló rojọ́ fún nípa ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n kà. I think the kini is here. Ó pọ̀ o, débi pé Olatoun tá à ń sọ yìí lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí, òun náà ti di divorcee, òun náà ti di single mother báyìí, ọkọ ẹ̀ ti lè kúrò lé. Ó ní Aladuke ló pọkọ òun, ló sọ fún ọkọ òun pé òun àti Femi Adebayo àwọn ọjọ́ ń ní àjọṣepọ̀. Ó ní kódà Aladuke tún lọ bá brọ́dà wọn kan, ó sọ fún brọ́dà wọn pé òun máa fún ní 1 million naira kí ìyẹn bá wọn háàkì WhatsApp account òun. Ṣé mo pé tó ti send oríṣiríṣi voice note sí Olatoun, ó wá fẹ́ get gbogbo information yẹn sílẹ̀ kí ìyẹn má bàa use it against ẹ̀. Ṣé you get ẹ mọ̀ tó bá ti jẹ́ pé ìwà àtẹ̀yàn ti close ìwọ, ó ti sọ oríṣiríṣi fún, ó ti mọ̀ pé ó ní àṣírí ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ dáadáa kó wá try láti máa sáré pé kó má bàa rí kíní yẹn lò against ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn nǹkan tí Olatoun sọ ẹ jẹ́ kí a analyse there, because I mean as much as we don't want to attack Aladuke, truly tó bá jẹ́ àwọn nǹkan tí Olatoun sọ òótọ́ ni èmi máa sọ wípé Aladuke ò ṣe dáa o. In fact mo fẹ́ lè wò pé mi ò fẹ́ pity ẹ̀ mọ́. Àwọn nǹkan yẹn ó le. Olatoun sọ pé anyway ó ní ìgbà tí Mr. Femi ti pè òun yẹn tó ti ń sọ oríṣi tó ti ń sọ pé ìyàwó wọn sọ pé báyìí tó ti wá di pé àwọn méjèèjì ń takora wọn yẹn lòun ti decide pé òun gbọ́dọ̀ record gbogbo nǹkan tí lady yìí bá ti ń sọ o kó má lọ kó bá òun débi pé ó ní Aladuke pé director kan tó yẹ pé òun feature nínú movie ẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ bá òun jẹ́ fún ẹni yẹn fóun níṣẹ́ ó gbàjẹ́ lẹ́nu ẹ̀. Ó ní ó pe ọkọ ilé tóun fẹ́ tó bímọ bíi mélòó fún, ó dà pé bí ọmọ 3 àbí nǹkan lọ ní pé Olatoun ti bí. Ó ló sọ fún ọkọ òun pé òun fẹ́ Femi Adebayo, ó tún sọ oríṣiríṣi nǹkan fọ́kọ òun débi wípé ó ní ọjọ́ kan ọkọ òun nà òun báyìí òun dẹ̀ lose consciousness. Ẹ̀rí pé ìyẹn le ọkọ tó love ẹ̀ dáadáa tẹ́lẹ̀ ó ní débi wípé kíní yẹn ló fà á tí òun àti ọkọ òun táwọn ò fi jọ sí mọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọkọ àti ìyàwó. Ẹ rò pé kékeré ni gbogbo nǹkan tó yí tí ó ń sọ lórí kíní yẹn náà. Nǹkan tó sọ pé Aladuke ṣe ni o, torí mi ò sí ń bẹ̀ o, mi ì dẹ̀ ní jẹ́rìí èké o. Apparently from what Olatoun wrote, at some point Aladuke got to know that Olatoun was recording their conversation. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí pọ̀. Only apart from the voice note she sent to my phone, I had no intention of recording her. Oh, mo ti lọ tún yẹn kà ní. However, when she began to lie to implicate me to support her in carrying out her evil plan, including telling sister-in-law that lives in France that I was the one who took her to a herbalist who allegedly claimed her husband used her and her son for money rituals, that she would burn down the house then, I was advised to start keeping records of everything she was telling me. Hey! So wọ́n bá débì. Ṣé rí ẹ̀yin èèyàn nǹkan tẹ́ máa ń sọ ń gbà mí? Abálájọ mo notice pé àwọn kan lórí TikTok àti lórí Facebook tó ń support Aladuke. Mo máa sọ wípé kí Femi Adebayo tó fẹ́ Aladuke. Eré wo náà ló ń ṣe bí eré ìjẹ̀lílé oníṣó ló máa ń ṣe. Kò ń ṣeré gidi náà pé ẹsẹ̀ Aladuke ló dá ń lé ẹ̀ ló ṣe jẹ́ pé àwọn nǹkan ń dà fún. Mo ti sọ kíní ìtẹ́lẹ̀ rí lọ́jọ́ kan lórí show pé Femi Adebayo was already a big star kó tó fẹ́ Aladuke. Femi Adebayo wà lára àwọn Yorùbá actors yẹn tó yẹ pé ó ti dé peak career ẹ̀ ń gbà yẹn, but he needed to move forward. Ló wá di wípé ó wọnú cinema movies. So ṣé cinema movies ló fún ní popularity ni? He was very popular now. It's just that kéèyàn máa sọ pé cinema movies ló fún Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé àbí Tóyìn Abraham ní popularity. Wọ́n ti already wà popular nínú Yorùbá movie industry. Wọ́n kò kí ń ṣe English ni. Nígbà yẹn Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé tẹ̀ máa ń ṣe English mélòó kan. Later Tóyìn Abraham náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa feature láwọn ọ̀rọ̀ cinema movies. Ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa produce títí ẹ̀. Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé ìyẹn ń ṣe Jennifer's Diary. So yes, gbogbo wọn they got bigger. Know that torí pé wọ́n fẹ́yàn kan, it's just like kí JJC Skills tó fẹ́ Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé tẹ́lẹ̀ kó máa sọ wípé tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ ṣèbéèrè Yorùbá ló máa ń ṣe, òun lòun jẹ́ kó popular, òun lòun fún ní fame. Ó ṣe máa sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ torí pé ó ń ṣeré Yorùbá tẹ́lẹ̀ kò mí pé kò popular tẹ́lẹ̀ náà, ó step up ni náà. Okay, tí JJC Skills gan bá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ńgbà yẹn, lẹ́yìn tí JJC Skills kúrò nínú ayé Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé tán divorce, kọ́ ni Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa ń pa bílíọ̀nù àbí kí lẹ̀ ń sọ? Ṣé rántí? tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ movie Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé the first 2 movies tó gbé jáde 600 million ló máa ń pa though òun náà ni highest grossing producer náà ń gbà yẹn o but 600 million ni ọdún tóun àti JJC Skills fira wọn sílẹ̀ gangan ní Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé kọ́kọ́ make over 1 billion ẹ lọ wò so tó bá yẹ pé bóyá ògo èèyàn kan ló ń lò so èèyàn kan ò lè sọ pé èèyàn kan torí ẹsẹ̀ èèyàn kan ló da ẹsẹ̀ èèyàn kan ni ò da àwọn tí wọ́n mú ògo wáyé wọ́n ti mú ògo wọn wáyé ẹyẹ sọ pé ìyẹn Aladuke òkè nígbà tí ìyẹn Aladuke ti wá fi fún Femi Adebayo lẹ̀ ṣe bí Femi Adebayo lọ ṣe Agẹṣinkólé 2 tó yẹ pé 3 weeks péré lọ́ fi show ẹ̀ ní cinema kó tiẹ̀ tí wọ́n ń ṣe regular cinemas o community cinemas ni o tọ́kọ̀ gba hall síbì kan táwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ lọ jáde tán lọ wo eré yẹn eré tó jẹ́ pé 3,000 4,000 péré ní gate fee ẹ̀ and he still made over 400 million ṣé ògo kìíní kí ló ń pè ẹ̀yin Aladuke náà ló ṣì ń lò yẹn a ní ẹyẹ tọra yín ó lè jẹ́ pé ṣé nítorí àwọn èèyàn tó bá ti ní pọ́blẹ́mù báyìí wọ́n máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa ronú pé bóyá èèyàn kan ló ń ṣàwọn bóyá kinní kan ló ń ṣàwọn ara nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ rí nìyẹn o àwọn kan lè ti sáré máa fi sí ìyẹn Aladuke lórí pé ọmọ ẹ̀ tó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn bóyá ọkọ ẹ̀ ló lò torí lẹ́yìn tí ó fẹ́ tán lówó ẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa yá mu wá ṣé you get because most of àwọn people yìí nígbà tó wà nínú eré Yorùbá movies yẹn they were doing fine but wọ́n were exceptionally wọ́n were this rich and it's just normal because ayé improve sí ni ẹ wo ẹ jẹ́ kí n ka post yìí because there's so much to say about statement pé èèyàn kan ń fẹ́ èèyàn kan ó lọ fi ogun ẹ̀ fi ṣe nǹkan and I'm not saying that àwọn èèyàn kì í ṣe o gbogbo wa máa ń wo Yorùbá movies nígbà yẹn o but it is unfair kí ẹnì kankan máa insinuate bẹ́ẹ̀ so báwo ni ìgbéyàwó yẹn ò ṣe ní forí ṣánpọ́n ẹ wò ó ní ìyá Aladuke you have taken so much from me or too much from me I constantly cry and wish I never met you you have pushed too many false narratives about me for far too long if at all I have ever had evil intentions against you your family or sexually interested in your husband or gotten involved for my financial gain may it not be well with Aladuke forever Ami if at all you know the truth and reason you are in this mess but yet you choose to hide bully victimize and blame me for your predicament may it never be well with you Ìyá Aladuke I dare you to type amen in the comment section you are always quick to comment on social media so please show the same energy here is my truth with fact page 2 là ń kà yẹn ó pọ̀ gan-an episode yìí pọ̀ o. I have known Femi Adebayo as a mentor, senior colleague and friend before you both got married. I had even kept my distance since you both got married. However, you reached out to me through Instagram DM and we became friends or we became close in 2023 because I also have an autistic child who is about 11 years old. We connected and I took you as my auntie. I rarely have friends. This is verifiable and I assumed you to be a good person. Your interest was first because you needed help with my approach, which helped my son improve. And I later got to understand that you also used me to monitor and police your husband's activities at locations or to get industry stories about him. Ṣé ń gbọ́? Ọkọ ti gbé ẹ sílé, ọkọ ẹ̀ ò dẹ̀ mọ́rú iṣẹ́ tọ́kọ ẹ ní, ó wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa ṣọ́ ọkọ ẹ̀ kiri. Ó wá lọ close mọ́yàn so that kíyẹn lè máa sọ fún nǹkan báyìí lọ́kọ ẹ̀ ṣe nǹkan báyìí lọ́kọ ẹ̀ ṣe ó remind me of ibi kan tí mo ti ṣiṣẹ́ ń gbà yẹn ìyàwó yẹn máa wá sọ́fíìsì á wá béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi ìgbà yẹn mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ jáde yunifásitì náà á béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi ni pé ṣé ọkọ òun obìnrin kankan ò wá wá kíní kankan ò wá wá in fact there was a day the woman brought somebody's picture ó wá fi hàn mí lórí fóònù ẹ̀ ṣé mo ti rí guy yìí rí mo ní èmi ò rí guy yẹn rí o níwà guy yẹn sì wá sọ́fíìsì like a day before ó ní how come guy yẹn máa ń wá dáadáa mo ní bóyá mo ò dá mọ̀ ni because ẹnu tèmi kọ́ ló máa ti gbọ́ pé ìyá tíṣà kú and I hate women who do that kí ló dé tó ṣe ń police ọkọ ẹ̀ kiri ká ló ń wọ ẹ pé kò fẹ́ ọkùnrin tí kò lè control kíní ẹ̀ so kí n tèmi tí mama bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣọ́ kiri ṣe báwọn náà ló má Aladuke tó ń sọ nínú voice note yẹn nínú voice recording yẹn tó ń sọ pé òun lọ bá Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé ó náà send the direct message sí Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé pé Fúnkẹ́ wá sáré pé òun Fúnkẹ́ wá sọ pé rárá o òun ò ṣe orúkọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn o. Can you imagine that? Ìyẹn tẹ̀ bí nínú gbogbo voice note yẹn. Ìyẹn bí nínú ẹ̀ because mo rò pé kí ni nínú insult wo nìyẹn. Ṣé tó bá ṣe pé bóyá Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé wà àtọkọ ẹ̀ náà wọn ò jọ sí mọ́, báwo ni ẹ̀yán Aládùkẹ́ máa ṣe máa lẹ́nu láti lọ máa accuse ẹ̀ fún nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn? Ara nǹkan tá à ń sọ rè bọ́ ṣe máa lé èèyàn lára ọkọ wọn nìyẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ tòótọ́ fún yín, pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó ṣe pẹ̀lú Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé yẹn, I bet it with you pé tí Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé bá ní múvì kankan tó fẹ́ ṣe tí ó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ó yẹ kó gbé Fẹ́mi Adébáyọ̀ sí, kò ní gbé Fẹ́mi Adébáyọ̀ sí because kò fẹ́ wàhálà. Even tí Fẹ́mi Adébáyọ̀ gan máa tó bá invite ẹ̀ sí ibì kan kò ní lọ. Tó bá invite ẹ̀ sí eré gan, Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé ò ní ṣe because of irú kan báyìí ni, because you know that Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé doesn't even like messy things like this. Abálájọ náà mo notice pé nígbà tí Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé ṣe premiere behind the scene yẹn, Fẹ́mi Adébáyọ̀ was not there but Ọdúnládé was there. Torí nǹkan báyìí náà ni ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ló fọ́ Ọdúnládé tó máa sọ pé ó fẹ́ gba ó fàwọ́ ó fẹ́ kókò bàbá àsásùn tí ìyẹn tó tiẹ̀ tún sọ pé ó ń ṣe níta tó jẹ́ pé kí lórúkọ gẹ́ Táíwò Àròmọkùn yẹn tí ìyẹn sọ báyìí boldly pé òun fẹ́ ọkọ Ọdúnládé but ìdí tí àwọn òṣèré eventually fẹ́ra wọn ni pé Ọdúnládé ò fẹ́ fẹ́ second wife. Ṣẹ́yìn gbọ́ ìyàwó Ọdúnládé kó wà mẹ́sì níta rí ni? Scorpion ìyàwó Ọdúnládé náà nà so òun náà máa níbi tó burú dé. So kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ tó máa fi wọ́n fi máa monitor ọkọ ẹ kiri? That is insecurity, especially ọkọ tó ń ṣe dáadáa fún ẹ. Okay, only with our then relationship we held each other as confidants and spoke about personal things. I am not a saint, neither are you, but you are worse. Báwo ló ṣe mọ̀ pé she is worse? However, in October 2024, on the set of Jagunjagun 2, you did unspeakable things to your husband, and that started your predicament in your family. Aladuke, please use your mouth and say the things you did publicly and boldly. You told me about the havoc, and to the best of my ability, I mediated and spoke with your husband for peace to reign. But you never listened or calmed down. You told me he will never know peace. You said you will frustrate him. You kept pushing him until it backfired on you. So basically, nǹkan tí Olatoun sọ níbẹ̀, that means pé Olatoun ò sí ní location yẹn nígbà tí wàhálà yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin Aladuke àti Mr. Femi Adebayo táwọn kan sọ pé ó fọ́ TV ó ṣe gbá ó ṣàwò torí Mr. Femi Adebayo gbóbìnrin wọ inú yàrá kan àbí allegedly nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ nìyẹn. So Aladuke ló tún lọ rojọ́ fún pé ọkọ òun ṣe báyìí. That means she trusted you. Ìwọ gbọ́ tún sọ sí ìgbà pé ó fẹ̀kàn sọ fún ẹ láti lẹ̀ pé òun máa lọ fi kíní yẹn já Fẹ́mi láyà pé ìwọ mú òun lọ síbì kan. Though that is not right. You understand? But kò ń ṣe pé bóyá nǹkan tó lọ ṣe kò sọ fún ẹ tẹ́lẹ̀ pé òun máa ṣe. Tẹ́lẹ̀ lèmi ṣe sọ pé tó bá jẹ́ mi pẹ̀lú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn mi need láti record ẹni yẹn. But kí ni òun fẹ́ defend ara mi? Jẹ́ sọ fún even gan other people in the industry gan wọ́n máa wà wary of Olatoun because of nǹkan tó ṣe yẹn. Nǹkan tó Aladuke ṣe ò dáa but pé òun gan tún lọ record àwọn èèyàn yẹn àwọn kan máa wà wary of her because wọ́n máa wò pé ó lè lọ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ fáwọn náà. That's just the truth. Báwa èèyàn ṣe máa ń ronú nìyẹn àní ronú pé ẹni tó ṣe fún yẹn ó ní nǹkan tó ṣe fún. Akọ̀mọ̀ máa wò pé táwa náà bá ṣẹ̀ àbí tíjà bá ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin wa bóyá ó máa lọ gbérù recording kan jáde. Me, I won't do that. Èmi máa cut ẹni tó ń hùwà rádaràda yẹn mo máa cut ẹ̀ off mi instead of kí n máa try láti máa record ẹ̀ fún evidence. Anyway, Aladuke àti Olatoun are not me ṣá. I don't need the same upbringing so ẹ má jẹ́ kí n draw so much on that. Only I honestly tried my best and God sees my heart. I kept warning you and using my marriage as a reference. It never bothered me until you told me you wanted to use me to create a lie to tarnish his image. All because he hasn't been behaving the way you want him to after you humiliated and frustrated him on set. Ṣé ti gbọ́ ibi tí mo sọ ni pé ó sọ fún pé òun máa lò. You said you will tell people that I took you to a prayer place and would lie that FM used the glory of his children, Lateef, and several industry players to get fame. You also told me the different level of destruction you would create for him, for his family and business. I kept pleading with you, but you insisted you would go through with it. I also thought they were mere words until you started execution. It wasn't until FM called me to say I took you somewhere and they said it was diabolical. I immediately knew you were using me because you believe I won't speak. I had to speak with some elders and the religious leaders who then advised that I needed to be careful and not assume you won't make do of your threats. I needed to protect myself and knew I needed evidences, which I never shared any of the content with your husband or even told him until you started coming after my life. Many of your threats, you already started working and building towards it at that time. I had to send you a voice note in February 2025 to explain myself and to assure you that everything you shared with me was safe. The evidence was mine to keep because I had already seen how far you could go, and I could not stand by and watch evil unfold. What followed afterwards feels like something straight out of a Yoruba movie. Hard to believe, hard to explain, but this is the reality of life. This woman came after me both physically and spiritually. She was afraid because she knew she had said too much and that I had evidence. So she was determined to silence me at all costs. First, she created a false narrative that I was in a relationship with her husband. She told my husband this, along with many other lies. You know how men can be. She then escalated things spiritually. And one night, my husband beat me until I lost consciousness. Wow. I almost died. That night marked the end of my marriage. She continued by telling my husband about our chat so that when I eventually speak out, he would not believe me. That was when I knew I had no choice but to tell her husband the truth and reveal who she really was. I honestly believed she would stop after that, but she did not. Wow. She came after me with everything she had. She called people across the industry, telling them not to give me work. She contacted one of the directors in the industry and deliberately destroyed my livelihood. Even that, I could have survived. But she went further. She attacked my health. I could no longer sleep. My blood pressure became dangerously high. I stayed awake all night, and those who know me noticed that I was always posting at odd hours. I began hearing voices. I would collapse in public. Abba, I don't believe that she attacked your health, Sha. But anyway, you can believe what you will. But that's your truth. So don't let me shut it down. She would then call my family to confirm what was happening to me. Tó bá ti attack ẹ̀ táwa lọ pa àwọn family. She kò ṣe pé ó ṣe nǹkan lóòótọ́. But tó bá ṣe nǹkan, how come she has not been able to bring her husband back? Tó bá yẹ pé ó níbi kan tó ti ń ṣe nǹkan tó lè attack èèyàn spiritually. Kí ló tó lọ ṣe nǹkan sọ́kọ̀ ẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ ẹ̀ máa kàn pé Aladuke títí tó máa fi parí ìjà. Abeg, I don't really believe this part, Sha. She would then call my family to confirm what was happening to me. I started showing clear signs of mental breakdown. Wow. I would suddenly start screaming, and when I come back to myself, I would not know where I was. There are many things I cannot even bring myself to write here. All this while she executed her plans carefully, yet appeared in public as a gentle, innocent person. She even planned to pay my brother 1 million naira to hack my WhatsApp. I have evidence of this. The Aladuke you know is sweet and soft-spoken. I was once close to her, but the person I came to know is viciously evil and an extremely skilled manipulator. If anything happens to me after now, please hold the Aladuke responsible. Just listen to the voice notes. If after that you still choose to bash me, I will accept it with peace because my intentions were pure. And still, there's so much more that I cannot say. Anyway, èmi ti ka nǹkan tó sọ. I took you to a church to pray. You used that as part of your story to build a lie to blackmail him to return home. I told you I was scared and you shouldn't do it. Instead, I was hearing from different angles that I took you to a shrine. Me, Olatoun, this is the narrative you've been spreading. At least now, they can know where I took you to, and you were spoiling my name and using me to blackmail him to return home. How do I defend myself without this recording? And you continue to attack me as if I was the root cause. Tell people exactly what you did and stop blaming me. At the end of the day, whether gbogbo nǹkan tí Olatoun kọ yẹn o, whether gbogbo nǹkan tó kọ yẹn òótọ́ ni o, pé ìdí tó fi ṣe é nìyẹn o, or bóyá irọ́ ló ń pa, tí tèmi ni wípé èmi ò fẹ́ rú ọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn láyé mi. Anyway, nǹkan tí Olatoun kọ nìyẹn. I already said my bit. I wouldn't have gone this far. I wouldn't have recorded my friend. I understand that although tí ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ bá dà ẹ́, ìwọ náà máa fẹ́ ṣe kí ni adìyẹ dà mí lóògùn nù máa fọ́ lẹ́yìn, but I don't do that. Tí yóò bá ti ṣe nǹkan ayọ̀kan tó bá ti ṣe fún mi báyìí, èmi ò kì í dúró rárá tí màá ti cut wọn off. That's what I do, and it has worked for me so far. That's why I don't have too many friends right now. Tí wọ́n sọ pé mo ná ọ̀rẹ́ tó close mọ́ mi ẹyọ kan ni, and èmi àtọ̀rẹ́ mi gan, we are not really that deep tí màá máa sọ nǹkan tó wà private fún. Ṣé you get? Because mi nǹkan open up séyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Àwọn èèyàn tó close mọ́ mi jù tí mo lè sọ pé ọ̀rẹ́ mi right now tí mo bá ní parọ́ fún yín ni àwọn sisters mi méjì, ìkan jù mí lọ, mo jù kan lọ. Àwọn èèyàn yẹn ni mo máa ń mọ̀ pé mo máa ń lè open up sí. Mi naturally máa open up sára ta débi pé tí nǹkan bá wá ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú tí ọkọ àti ìyàwó màá lọ máa sọ fún èèyàn kan pé màá ṣe gbá màá ṣàwo, gbogbo ìyẹn ti pọ̀ jù. Anyway, mi fẹ́ draw so much on this but nǹkan tí Olatoun sọ nìyẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ kí mi mọ̀ nínú comment section bóyá ẹ̀yin believe Olatoun based on gbogbo nǹkan tó sọ wípé Aladuke ṣe fóun yìí, because gbogbo eléyìí pọ̀ ó pọ̀ kí n má purọ́.